sir, for his knowledgeable session on precision emission monitoring, reliability to sustainability. But before that, I want to take the privilege to introduce you with this personality, Dr. Pritesh Shah. Only with clean environment and intentions rises a clean, great nation. Very purposefully said by Dr. Pritesh Shah, chairman of Prima. Pritesh is a dynamic and very optimistic personality born in Jamnagar, Gujarat. With a meager cash amount of rupees 140, Prima Equipment was established on October 11, 1992. While designing gas detectors and analyzers for safety, pollution, and environment monitoring products, the priority was the ruggedness and sustainability of equipment. In 1998, got an opportunity to develop continuous stack gas emission monitoring equipment, and that sparked off a new journey in terms of design, development, and innovation. Mr. Pritesh Shah sir has delivered many lectures nationally, internationally. He is running a foundation named Kala Bharati Charitable Foundation also. Dr. Pritesh visualize Prima as a proud Indian manufacturer supplying equipment internationally. He would like to serve an increasing number of industries with the most affordable solutions while creating more awareness for environment conservation. His mantra is, if you can visualize it, you can actualize it. So put your hands together and welcome on stage Dr. Pritesh Shah.
Changing part is this.
It is, yeah.
So this one is it?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'll be holding back to you for another 30 minutes before you go for your tea. Am I right? That's what you need, basically, because your official time is 3:30 for your tea break. But I'll be holding you for 30 minutes. The reason is, you must keep an attention to this part is, you are going to witness today the things about the emission monitoring. So like boiler technology, boiler working, everything we know, we use boilers. Now the major constraint which has been experienced by India is since 2014, you must be aware about the Central Pollution Control Board has issued certain guidelines for your emission. So the pollutant emission, what you emit in the air, has to be of certain level, certain concentration you cannot cross, and other thing you need to measure continuously about that emission. Now in 2014, I'm putting a little background and then I'll come back to on the presentation what the innovation as the Prima equipment was done in the monitoring equipment. In 2014, these guidelines came about the certain parameters to be measured by the 17 highly polluted industries for their boiler emissions or maybe any combustion emissions for the measuring the pollutants about the SO2, NOx, and particulate matter especially. There was a few words in the guidelines was mentioned that has to be of certain certification of that equipment before you buy. So the certain certification was purely namely as in TUV, oblique, and AMCert. This was the lab. Now, there was a lot of confusion between the buyers that what is TUV, is it standard or it's in laboratory. Nowadays, a lot of awareness since 5 years, what we have done, the people have been aware now that TUV is not a standard, it is in laboratory, which carry out the testing of the continuous emission monitoring system or automated monitoring system worldly. In the entire world, they call it as an AMS. So, in 2018, we as a small engineer team of 7 people team at the average age of 28 years, took a challenge to understand what the standards are. Because so-called the TUV, where the all multinational company comes with that we give you a certificate of that continuous emission monitoring system, that it has been certified by the TUV Germany and or the AMCert UK. So the question was reliability. So in spite of these guidelines of 2014, the Indian industry has invested on the basis of that guidelines and about that the standard part that it has to be a certain certified. Almost more than, that's a government figure, is more than $6.5 billion of investment is done by you all people as an industrialist to install an emission monitoring system. And the question is, after 10 years, if you go back and ask the regulators that are the readings can be used for the policy making, they say no. The reason is, we are not sure the readings are true or false, or rather in the simple word what we call as a reliable. They are not sure about that the reading which we are receiving from the certified product which we have proposed in the guidelines are reliable or not. So this was the things which we are the young team, we are the 7-people team, in industry we call engineers, in government organization they call as a scientist. But the average 29 years of 7 engineers was put on to study the EN standard on which base the TUV laboratory test the product that is called the EN 14181 and EN 15267 standard, widely known as, and then generalized we call as a quality assurance level 1. So we were the first Indian company to have a licensed standard purchased from the EN. We worked on that in 2 years, 2.5 years. We were the laboratory which we mentored to them were ready to get that testing facility accredited by the accreditation board. Unfortunately, Indian accreditation board doesn't have a competency to accredit for that standard. So we have to all the way go to the USA with an international accreditation service. Why I'm telling all this thing? The question is, why we don't create first the testing facility and then the guidelines? You know, we can reach, our scientists can reach to moon, and we can't create a testing laboratory, which in small MSME industry has invested only 8 crore rupees, 8 CR. In fact, the Prime Minister of India has personally intervened into this. And in 2019, maybe a lot of government officers must be sitting here. They can check with that. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has published the first gazette in 2019 and instructed to the CSIR, NPL and CPCB to develop the testing facility as per this EN standard, which I told you of 14181, 15267, that's 3. And allocated around 69 crores or 70, round of 70 crore rupees. You need to check up what is the status in that case. Still, India doesn't have that. But India do have that in that case. So let's move to that journey. Why I'm confidently I can say about this journey is because we are the manufacturer. I'm not the laboratory guy. I'm a manufacturer of continuous emission monitoring system. And being an Indian manufacturer, you face a lot of hurdles while having to compete with a multinational company coming with a certificate, piece of certificate paper from the Europe and from the UK and the Germany. So it is our own duty that let's do it, check it. Is it my equipment is not proper? Let me check. So we went to the EN standard laboratory and sent our equipment for checking, and I'm going to produce here that particular results and the standards here. So, welcome to all. So we'll go with the thought process, how the thought process came, which I already discussed with you. And so deterioration of air quality, industry, environmental quality. The more of important what we understand was reliable tested measuring equipment to ensure to have an accurate and credible data. It is not the compliance only. It is not only for compliance कि CPCB में मैंने data भेज दिया, काम खत्म हो गया, और data भी कैसा जाना चाहिए? I'll be English, Hindi will be okay? Yeah. So data भी कैसा जाना चाहिए? जो मेरा ELV लिख के आया है ना consent में कि 100 से ऊपर नहीं जाना है, तो 100 के ऊपर नहीं जाना चाहिए data. We don't think of further third part. So, are the CMS or AMS system accurate, credible? Are they reliable quality and sustainability? Sampling probes are correctly installed? हमारे guidelines में दिया है 8D, 2D सब कुछ दिया है. I hope somebody are aware about the CMS guidelines into this. But on the periphery or the degree, at what degree I should put my sampling probe, it's something goes under the standard. So calibration function and maintenance part. So my simple questions to everyone is, do you install AMS, CMS for only regulatory compliant purpose? If yes, this seminar is not for you. If no, then probably you can be with me for another 25 minutes. Definitely you will find something, this miracle which has happened in India. By an Indian scientist, very young engineers who has done this part with a very minimum investment, and it is the world's third facility and Asia's only facility is there since last 3 years. And the main important part I'll tell you, it has not reached to you. Why it has not reached to you? Because the regulator feels that हम नहीं कर पाए तो एक छोटी सी प्राइवेट MSME कंपनी कैसे कर देती है. हमारे पास 70 crore. I hope you will think that. So, and who knows this about the facility? Who knows about this facility? I'm in Maharashtra, okay. So Maharashtra Pollution Control Board chairman knows this facility since last 3 years. Central Pollution Control Board chairman and the member secretary knows this facility available in India since last 3 years. The National Green Tribunals Authority, NGT, knows this facility available in India since last 3 years. And still they cry that my data are not reliable because the things has not been implemented. So, because we only work on compliance, I wish that you utilize for process optimization, environment conservation, and really want to save money. Do you want these 3 things? Then another 22 minutes is for you. So we'll be talking about quality assurance level 1, where the international standards are applied, where this your Indian guidelines is. Why I've always talked about the EN standard? Because I've been forced by the guidelines published in 2014 by the regulators that you have to work on this. So I'm working on that because there is no BIS standard or IS standard, and neither there is any working is done in the last 10, 12 years to have an Indian standard, testing standard for the emission monitoring system for my Indian industry who has invested more than $6.5 billion and for the conservation of environment and for the future of their children in that case. So what is the definition of quality assurance once? We want a systematic approach, not haphazard. कोई भी थैला लेके इक्विपमेंट बना के लेके आया, कहीं से भी उठा के लेके आया, डाल दिया, सैंपलिंग किया, रीडिंग आ गया, मैंने भेज दिया. No. Here is a systematic approach where you can have to achieve the quality assurance. Second is set of quality control measures. So you have a measures, you can control. There are the definitions कि इस तरह से ये data होना चाहिए. And systematic assessment and verification, the most important. And that is the reason the standard called EN 14181 and 15267-3 comes with an quality assurance level 1. Now what is this? Can I have a back? Yeah. So now there are type of call. That's the most important. Now you can evaluate. I'm not going to speak. I'm going to say. This is everything available on Google. Only thing I have experience, so I have derived. But you can cross-check, you can take the photograph of the screen, you can cross-check on the Google. The most important, suppose I say I have a continuous emission, or you have a continuous emission monitoring system, which has been TUV certified or an AMSAT certified, which you purchased in 2014. So now that is called a Coil 1, Quality Assurance Learn, because before installation of CEMS, Frequency, once only, which you purchase because you have a certificate of that. Who has done that? By accredited laboratory. So manufacturer has sent that equipment to that accredited laboratory, जो हिंदुस्तान में सिर्फ 3 साल पहले आया, उसके पहले तो था ही नहीं, दो ही जगह पे था. That was in TU Ireland, Germany, and is an NPL UK testing facility. Then relevant standards and relevant clauses. Now Qual 2, what it says, post installation with calibration at least every 5 years. Who can do this? Accredited lab. That means the people, those who have industry, those who have purchased the equipment, CMS in 2014 or later, every 5 years, they remove the system from the chimney and they ship to the Germany or either UK to continue the certification of that equipment. Am I right? This is the standard says. I don't say. Furthermore, Qual 3, okay, that is a regularly the user has to do as per the manufacturer's operational manual. The fourth part is AST, Annual Surveillance Test. After 1 year of Qual 1, that means in 2014 when you have a certified product, after every year you have to go with AST. Who can do that AST? Accredited laboratory. That means हर साल अपना equipment जो भी आपने लगाया है XYZ कंपनी का वो आप चिमनी से निकालते होंगे, वापस शिप करते होंगे, वापस वो आता होगा. Am I right? No. So the problem is, guidelines, we blindly follow the guidelines. We never ask a question to regulator, what is the next? If I'm investing in maybe a $4 billion or $4 million or 4 million rupees, what is I'm going to credible results or reliability I'm going to get after this installation? So this is what my equipment was sent to this laboratory. We are performing this since last 2.5 years now. So this is what the level of the Qual 1 is a quality assurance level 1. The Qual 1 के नीचे क्या आता है? EN 15267 2 and 3. 3 is basically a test part. 1 and 2 is a primary. The primary part is, suppose I have a collaboration, means I have a made in India. Narendra Modi sir ने बोला कि made in India, make in India करो. So a lot of multinational companies, what they say, they purchase and shade here and they made the company name as an India Limited. Okay. And they started selling the equipment with the certificate of Europe. And they says that we are making here, but certificate of Europe, you can't. The origin manufacture, origin place of equipment, this 152671 and 2 says, the original manufacturing place has to undergo with the standard regulations. I cannot buy equipment from Japan or maybe China or from Italy. Okay. I can say made in India and I can say the certificate of German laboratory. Okay, this is certified, my model, and it is manufactured in made in China or maybe Vietnam or maybe in somewhere else in India. This is purely and wrong practice. But however, we don't know that part. Second thing, the equipment has to go with the conformity of European standard certified CE laws of 61010. It has to pass, it has to be tested in the laboratory, and then only further the third part comes into the picture. And third part, we have a two-part. One is a laboratory test and another field test. We'll discuss on that. So these are the tests. These are the number of tests in the laboratory. Let me give a caution here. There is one Indian company, TUE India. Why I'm saying openly, you know. And people are recording. I think organization is also recording this. He is issuing now certificate of that certain CMS is Qual 1 certified. Doesn't have the accreditation for that. And he checked only for 2 parameters out of this. Be aware when you are buying the equipment. Always ask. मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल दे दूं सर. हम पैथोलॉजी लेबोरेटरी में जाते, ब्लड यूरिन देते, नेक्स्ट डे हमको डॉक्टर सर्टिफिकेट दे देगा तो हम निकल जाएंगे. हम क्या मांगेंगे? हम बोलेंगे भाई हमको रिपोर्ट दे भैया, हमको देखना है मेरा हीमोग्लोबिन ठीक है, एचडीएल ठीक है, एलडीएल ठीक है कि नहीं रेंज में. Tell me one industrialist sitting here who bought a TUE certified product has a test report of the TUE laboratory with them. None of the Indian company Indian industry has a certificate test report of that laboratory. So the laboratory test, these are the various like zero span, deviation, drift, cross sensitivity. They are very important because that's the actually will give you the reliability of your emission monitoring. Unless you have a reliability of the data, you cannot have a policy. Like अपने डॉक्टर सर अभी बोल के गए about the sustainability when you have a reliability data. सब पॉलिसी कैसे बनाओगे? आपका डाटा ही रिलायबल नहीं है. Then the field test. Now field test, the most important I put in the one green line, green word, that the determination of homogeneity of EN 15259. What is that? The standard says, I don't say, the standard says, whatever certified product I have, whichever, maybe it's TUV or AMCert, I cannot have an installation done of the sampling probe at the chimney without conducting 15259 test, which is called as an homogeneity test. Homogeneity will be like, you may be knowing about the isokinetic sampling. Isokinetic, the pollution board आता है, वो डंडा डालते हैं, पंप चलता है, सैंपलिंग करता है, थिम्बल में, सॉक्सा लेता है, बबलर में. Okay? Now there is a word called traverse point. You know, there is a cross section of the chimney diameter, and from various points you have to take the sample. That is called an homogeneity. So there is a 3-day test as per 15259. On that data, it has been put into the analytical formula, and the sampling point, not height I'm talking, sampling point is been decided where I should put my sampling probe. How many of you have done? 0. Because it costs 75,000 rupees. For 3 days, the laboratory has to be there, analytical laboratory, accredited lab. And we say, no, we install the TV certified product. And we talk about the reliability. Because the regulator knows that it is not reliable. लेकिन धंधा है, तो सब कुछ करते हैं. It's like that. So, and anybody can have question any point of time if I am saying anything out of the syllables. So this is what the field test it is. Now I'll tell you how it happens into that. So this is the primary requirement, as I told you about 152671 and 152672. These are the primary requirement of that. C labeling, security, output range, additional data output, display operational, password protected. This has to be a mandatory part of the CEMS system before it goes to the laboratory for 15267-3 testing. It's clear. Now, these are the tests. I'll move very fast here because there's a lot of... Now, first test, response time. So, these are the tests which actually conducted on the equipment. And I'll tell you, इसमें इतना कुछ भी नहीं है हाई-फाई जो हमारे हिंदुस्तान के बड़े-बड़े साइंटिस्ट नहीं कर सकते. But what is missing, you know? What is missing is an intention. I have clearly seen, I am in 35 years into the environment field of my career. इतना wastage of money मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा. You know, we are the richest country in the world. I'll tell you how. Sir, you are a very senior person here, you know. I'll tell you, we are the richest country in the world. 2014 से हम लोग डेटा भेज रहे हैं सेंट्रल पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड में रियल टाइम. हर 2 मिनट में डेटा जा रहा है. बिलियंस ऑफ डाटा जा रहा है. बाद में बोला उसको डेटा सीपीसीबी डायरेक्ट देती नहीं है रेगुलेटर्स. इट हैज टू गो विद द टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर डाटा. तो उसका मतलब एक सर्वर मेरा क्लाउड सर्वर टेक्नोलॉजी प्रोवाइडर का हो गया. उसके ऊपर से मैं ट्रांसफर करूंगा रेगुलेटर के सर्वर पे, तो एक स्टोरेज वहां पे हो गया. बाद में 6-7 साल पहले कोई एक कंपनी आया, उन्होंने स्टेट वाले को बताया कि आप स्टेट वाले आप डेटा नहीं लेते क्योंकि वो सीपीसीबी से डायरेक्ट नहीं ले सकते. ऐसा होता है? हो सकता है, डायरेक्ट ले सकते हैं. जैसे लॉगिंग कस्टमर करता है ऐसे स्टेट भी कर सकता है. लेकिन उसको समझाया कि नहीं अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट है, तो हर स्टेट वालों ने खुद का एक सर्वर डाला. तो तीसरा डाटा गया स्टेट सर्वर में, और बाद में अब ऑफिसर्स जाते हैं तो बोलते हैं कि आपको भी सेव करना है, इंडस्ट्री को भी डाटा आपको रखना है हर हफ्ते में. नाउ unreliable data since last 10 years, these 4 places अगर सेव कर सकते हैं तो इससे रिचेस्ट कंट्री कौन सा हो सकता है बताइए. Unreliable data. Because I am not able to hand over to MOEF the data, so you prepare the policy, this is my 10 years of research, my industry has given me the data. Repeatability standard deviation at 0 point and span point. किसी ने सुना भी नहीं होगा. सैम्स ले ले भाई, हमको सॉक्स नॉक्स चाहिए, पीएम चाहिए, सीपीसीबी को डाटा भेजना है, इतना इक्विपमेंट दे दे और कितना सस्ता देगा वो बता दे. और मेंटेनेंस होना नहीं चाहिए, 5 साल ट्रबल फ्री चलना चाहिए, आदमी लगना नहीं चाहिए उसमें. दिस इज हैपनिंग व्हेन यू डू द एनफोर्समेंट. You don't sit with the industry and say that I am going to provide you a solution, I am going to guide you. अगर आप ये नहीं करेंगे ना, एनफोर्समेंट करेंगे ना, यही रिजल्ट आता है. सो लैक ऑफ फिट. मेरा एक रेफरेंस मटेरियल जो मैं अप्लाई करता हूं उसका रिजल्ट कितनी बार सही आता है. मैंने 10 बजे दिया, 10:20 को दिया, 10:40 को दिया, 11 बजे दिया, तो एवरी टाइम व्हाट इज चेंजेस आई एम गोइंग टू गेट. Because this is an 24/7 monitoring equipment. Drift. Now there are few technologies propagated in India, which is an absolute and the most deteriorated technology, I will say, in the SOx NOx measurement. और CPCB ने guidelines में भी लिखा है वो. He has written that. The drift level, उसलिए CPCB guidelines में क्या लिखा है, अगर आप ये टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करते हो तो आप तो हर हफ्ते में उसको जीरोइंग करना है और हर 15 दिन में उसको स्पान करना है, कैलिब्रेशन करना है. कौन करता है? इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ एम्बिएंट टेम्परेचर. वी आर डिफरेंट दैन द वर्ल्ड. आवर ट्रॉपिकल कंडीशंस आर डिफरेंट. द इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चर्ड इन यूरोप, जर्मनी, इट इज नॉट द सेम कंडीशंस. मेरे यहाँ टेम्परेचर -2 डिग्री से 49 डिग्री तक जाता है. इस बार तो 52 डिग्री गया. Is it my equipment which is installed in the chimney at the point is going to give me the same result? If not, doesn't matter. But do I have the test data कि मेरा जो equipment है उसका tolerance level ये आने वाला है when it is at 55 degree temperature? No, because you have been only provided as a certificate, not the test report. Influence of sample gas flow at extractive AMS. Influence of voltage variations, we prone to have into that. Cross sensitivity, because variety of application. अभी waste to energy पे जाएंगे हम लोग, तो there are a lot of other gases are going to come, highly toxic gases going to come into that picture. At that time, what will happen about my SOx NOx reading? Because that is going to affect the HF, HCl, hydrocarbon. There are a lot of things going to come when I am going to have a waste to energy application into that. So these are our equipment was sent to the laboratory, and there are the few testing photographs of the laboratory where the test was conducted. Now, field performance test. Now, how that is done? General requirements, the site has to be accordance with the 15259. 15259 कौन सा? Homogeneity वाला. वो किसी ने मेजर ही नहीं किया. कहाँ से वो साइट लाएंगे? सो हमको तो पहले दम निकल गया, पहले तो साइट ढूंढने में. बाद में वो साइट को हमने 15259 किया, एंड देन द लेबोरेटरी वाज अलाउड टू डू दैट. एंड द कंडीशन इज यू हैव टू हैव ए 3 to 4 months continuously on the same chimney with the 2 identical system has to be tested for entire these parameters. Now, analysis to be performed at the end field test. Close number wise days लिखा हुआ है. How many days our equipment was been kept at the site for testing. So, determination of homogeneity I am specifically mentioned before installation of the sampling probe on the stack. Just for a knowledge, I already told, but this is what is most important thing. and industry as an industry also, I request you all, means when you deal with that supplier, okay, either manufacturer, when you are on the buying mode, allow them to charge for that. Allow them to charge for that. Otherwise, it's no use. Functional test, calibration function. Calibration function, I must say something here. Comprehensive quality assurance, real world calibration. There is a difference between gas cylinder calibration. तो calibration कैसे होता है? I'll tell you a small example. Yeah, I have it 10 minutes more. I'll tell you a small example. Gas detector. You have a lot of people who have a safety gas detector installed. Now the audit comes, no accreditation audit comes. We call in India as an NABL. Audit comes to any laboratory. The auditor will ask the calibration certificate of any measuring device. Am I right? They will ask. तो आप दोगे तो वो बोलेगा कि नहीं ये आपने जो कैलिब्रेशन करवाया वो NABL लैब से है कि नहीं. Am I right? They will ask. Otherwise they will give you a non-conformity straight away. Just go back to your industry. Check your gas detector calibration certificate, which is for your safety, your family safety, and your plant safety, which has been ignored by accreditation board since last 76 years in India. Challenge. जाके देख लो अपना. गैस डिटेक्टर का क्यों लगा दे गैस डिटेक्टर? अपनी सेफ्टी के लिए, बच्चों की सेफ्टी के लिए, प्लांट की सेफ्टी के लिए. उसका एक्रीडेशन लोगो नहीं मांगेगा NABL ऑडिटर आपके पास. हिंदुस्तान में लैब ही नहीं थी. क्यों नहीं थी वो तो साइंटिस्ट जाने, लेकिन अभी 3 साल से है. चेक. एंड ये मेरी बात नहीं है. All the government research organization also having the calibration certificate non-accredited, जिसके पर पूरा रिसर्च हो रहा है, जिसकी हेल्प से. So there is a difference I had mentioned. What is the difference for calibration function actually as per EN 14181 and normally with the cylinder, NIST cylinder से जो करते हैं उससे. Response time, lack of fit, systematic deviation, पूरा सबका consider करके क्या deviation आ रहा है, that is a lack of fit. Is it really fit equipment or not? That has to be checked. Maintenance interval, 0 point, deviation from the rated values. So, availability. So, the standard says your equipment should be available for the performance more than 95% at any point of time with that all that state testing parameters. So, I was proud at the day when I got this report from that accredited lab. मेरे को मालूम नहीं था कि 20 साल से मैं जो साइंस बना रहा हूं वो इतना वर्ल्ड लेवल का है. बिकॉज आई वॉज नॉट टेस्टिंग ऑन द सिस्टमैटिक मेथड. शायद आज भी जो लोग यहां बनाते सैम्स शायद वो टेस्ट कर रहा है तो उनका भी वही इंटरनेशनल लेवल का होगा. दैट मीन्स यू आर इन द रॉ ऑफ एक्सपोर्टिंग. यू आर रेडी टू एक्सपोर्ट दैट इक्विपमेंट. यू आर कैपेबल ऑफ एक्सपोर्टिंग दैट इक्विपमेंट टू द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट. पर हमको मालूम ही नहीं है क्योंकि फैसिलिटी डेवलप ही नहीं हुई इंडिया में टेस्टिंग की. Reproducibility, the most important factors these are. And this is an actual, our equipment was tested by the laboratory at the various sites. You can see there are 2 systems are installed there. There's an isokinetic testing. Is all testing we have a digital record. There is nothing like pen paper से लिखा हुआ कागज पे. Everything has been data and Modbus or signal and transferred to the digital, all measuring device. Nobody can challenge कि तुमने हाथ से लिख के manipulate किया. Everything is digital. Now, key benefits of this part. Data is reliable and accurate, providing insight into process efficiency. How many officers of Pollution Board talk about your process efficiency by installing this CEMS system? आपका ESP अगर आप 1.5-2 करोड़ का इंस्टॉल करते हो लेकिन डस्ट मॉनिटर लगाना है तो वो 40,000 का लगाएंगे. यार दिखाने के लिए 50 दे देगा, रीडिंग बहुत हो गया. लेकिन 2 करोड़ का ईएसपी का एफिशिएंसी कौन बताएगा? वो जाने दो, कैपेक्स हो गया. ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट, द इलेक्ट्रिकल कंजम्पशन यू डू टू ऑपरेट दैट ईएसपी, कैलकुलेट करो ऑपेक्स. अगर मैं अच्छा सा गैस अपना डस्ट मॉनिटर लगाऊं और मेरे को मालूम पड़े कि मेरा 3rd स्टेज का फ्रीक्वेंसी कम करके मैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी 50 यूनिट बचा सकता हूं, वो पेबैक हो गया आपका. दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रोसेस ऑप्टिमाइजेशन, कॉस्ट सेविंग, money saving while using the pollution monitoring equipment and all that. So, efficiency of the process, reducing the production cost and minimizing the waste, and test report compliance certification. You are sure, you are double sure that my products are working and providing the truthful results. So this is the product which we are given for testing, and this is, we proudly, we are in a booth here also, and since last 2.5 years, in national, international conferences, conventions, and expos, we display in 6 by 4 feet there the world's only continuous emission monitoring system, which comes with EN 14181, EN 15267-3 test report. मेरे को सर्टिफिकेट से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. टेस्ट रिपोर्ट क्यों चाहिए? 6 महीने के बाद मैं जब कैलिब्रेशन करूंगा सर, तो एटलीस्ट मेरे को मालूम पड़े पहले का डिविएशन क्या था, पहले का टॉलरेंस क्या था, पहले का अनसर्टनिटी क्या था इक्विपमेंट का. तभी तो मैं अभी रिपोर्ट कर पाऊंगा ना कि इट इज सही है, बिगड़ा है, नहीं बिगड़ा है, रिपेयर करना है, नहीं करना है उसमें. लेकिन वो मेरे को मालूम ही नहीं है. बट वी डू प्रोवाइड 135 पेज test report, and this is the world's only company who comes and provides you authentic accredited lab test report with every CEMS into that. So, where are the facilities? These are the 3 facilities now. One is in UK, as I told you, in National Physical Laboratory, London. Second is TU Ireland, Germany. And third is TCQA Labs Private Limited in India since 2022, 21 probably, and 22. They have been the Asia's only testing laboratory where you can send your CEMS system, or if you already have an installed system, probably you can call for an annual surveillance test or maybe QL2 or like that. You can that. But this is, however, subject to. The thing is, still the regulators are not able to digest the things because it has not come from the government portfolios, bureaucratic portfolios, you know. So let's hope. We are innovators, we are engineers, we do always good for proud for our nation. And if I am able to save few $1 billion of my country, probably it's good part for me as an industrialist, as an innovator. I feel that we have done something good for our nation. And this 25 minutes or 30 minutes, I'm sure has been enriched in your look towards the emission monitoring system. उसको कैसा होना चाहिए, क्या होना चाहिए. और कल से, यानी आज से आप जब भी अपना emission monitoring system use करते हो, डाटा देखते हो, क्वेश्चन जरूर करोगे, are these reliable? If not reliable, then probably I will not kiss my child and my wife in the evening, and I will not be hypocritic and saying her or to my bachas that I am creating a better future for you. Am I right? We don't have a right to do that unless we know that I am reliable in that case. So, world's only CMS delivered compliance QL1 with test report. For each clause, the underlined word is for each clause of, yeah, done. So, ensuring reliability to sustainability. Until you have reliability, you can't have it. अभी मोदी साहब ने बोला ESG, तो सबने ESG डिपार्टमेंट खोल दिया कंपनी में, सब लोग मेजरमेंट शुरू करना हो गए, सस्टेनेबिलिटी बनाने लगे. Sustainability comes, the most ingredient of the sustainability is reliable data. If you don't have reliable data, your sustainability is not going to work. The policies any made will going to get destroyed or going to get fail. Maybe you will not find, because I am here for another 25 years, or maybe you another for 10 years, but your children is going to face after 20 years. जो पॉलिसी बनाया था ना, वो गलत डाटा पे था, इसलिए आज वो फेल हो गया. लेकिन हम तो होने वाले नहीं है, तो टेंशन भी नहीं है. But at least we should not leave the world like that. Let be true to what we do, and anytime if you have any questions, please be free, feel free. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shah, a very quick question, Dr. Shah.
Yes, sir.
I think the products that you are analyzing is sulfur dioxide, NOx, dust, isn't it?
Yes.
All the ingredients of air.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a source emission. Source emission.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, every chimney is emitting these things at certain heights.
Yes.
So is it important, because it gets distributed in the air, so it affects the air quality.
That's true.
And nowadays, we find every nook and corner, there is a air monitoring thing, where it gives you this particulate material, this thing, that thing, So which is valid? Because now the product responsibility is there. If you are making some product, like even chocolate, the wrapper has to be sustainable.
I understood, sir. I need a permission from ma'am for 2 minutes to reply for that. Yeah, because ये थोड़ा धड़कता भड़कता जवाब है. हाँ, थोड़ा आप लोगों को शर्म आएगी अपने आप पे. ऐसा है. Source ambient air quality बिगड़ता कहाँ से है? Source emission से. That is what the regulator says. So source emission से हवा नीचे आई तो हवा में गई और हमारे सांसों में गई. So there is a standard. National Ambient Air Quality Standard है. Central Pollution Board का Air Act के अंदर है ये. It is illegal. Okay? वो गैजेट पब्लिश हुआ है. उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि you have to measure with certain technology. You have to use certain measurement technology for the ambient air quality monitoring system. The technology is costly. अभी 5 साल पहले हमने पहला बनाना शुरू किया इंडिया में. बाकी सब इंपोर्ट होता है. वो करीबन पहले तो 1.5-2 करोड़ में बिका हुआ है वो. आज जो इंडिया में बनना शुरू हुआ तो 60-70 लाख पे आ गया वो. ठीक है. Now that is reliable, you say. But Dr. C. Sharma of National Physical Laboratory, he was a part of that research project. उसने एक आर्टिकल लिखा था, 99% of the CAQMS installed by the government are not validated. आर्टिकल है. ठीक है. सेकेंड पॉइंट, बाद में एक स्मार्ट सिटी आया, अपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर सर का ड्रीम है स्मार्ट सिटी. तो स्मार्ट सिटी में प्रोजेक्ट दिए गए, उसमें अंदर एयर क्वालिटी मॉनिटर लगाने का बोला अलग अलग सिटी के एरिया में. बट देन इट इज नॉट विद द मीटिंग टू द एक्ट. That equipments are used with an sensor based technology. ऐसा बोल के कर इतना महंगा तो कहाँ लगाएंगे, तो वो 60-70 हजार रुपया वाला लगा दो पब्लिक को दिखने वाला. बाकी जो गवर्नमेंट का जो लगाना है वो 1.5 करोड़ वाला लगाओ.
Sir, a good advice to you. I'm not in a
Yes,
position to give
please,
advice.
sir, please, sir.
Say you are good enough to analyze this air. Why don't you go enter into a plant inside, where all these tubes of the boiler tubes, they are also facing problems. If we'll see into EPRI, Electrical Power Research Institute of America, they have, because you are good at sensors.
Yeah.
The sensors are being used everywhere.
Yes, that's
so
true.
you can devise a robotic sensors, which is very miniature, which can go through the pipe and it can monitor, what is happening inside.
No, we have for NDT. I'm good in ultrasonic also. So we have done something for the NDT, not for the corrosion part so far. But anyway, I'll take this point with me and definitely I'll put a team. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please can meet me. Yeah, please, sir. What?
We are using PNG, pipeline natural gas, as a boiler fuel. So is it applicable for us?
देखो साइंटिफिकली एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, लेकिन आपके रीजनल ऑफिसर पोल्यूशन बोर्ड को, स्टेट पोल्यूशन बोर्ड को पूछ लो, क्योंकि हमारा देश है ना 32 देशों का एक देश बना हुआ है, बराबर है. तो आपने अपने स्टेट पोल्यूशन बोर्ड में क्या उन्होंने खुद का दिमाग लगा के क्या बोला पॉलिसी में, वो आपको उनको ही पूछना पड़ेगा. भगवान माई बाप वो है, साइंटिफिकली नहीं चाहिए.
ओके, थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सो मच.
थैंक यू सो मच. एंड आई थिंक ये जो सारे टॉपिक्स हैं these are very vast topics. So please be on the stage for 2 minutes. We want to felicitate you. Yeah, yes. And for this, I want to, yes, call upon stage Shri Anil Zunzure, in charge Joint Director, Solapur Steam Boilers. Sir, please be on the stage to felicitate Dr. Pritesh Shah. तो मैं ये कह रही थी, टॉपिक्स बहुत बड़े हैं, इम्पोर्टेंट भी है, उसके बहुत सारे आयाम हैं, तो जो वक्त हमने इन लोगों को दिया है ये काफी नहीं है, ये हम भी जान सकते हैं, आप भी जान रहे हो. Yes, please put your hands together for Mr. Pritesh Shah, sir, Dr. Pritesh Shah, CEO, Prima Equipment. Thank you so much, sir. And let me tell you, sir, all of you, there is a QR code and the banner is near the lift. You can scan the code and get all the technical जो भी पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन स्पीकर्स द्वारा यहाँ हो रहे हैं, वो टेक्निकल बुक आपको वहां से मिल जाएगी. थैंक यू सर. सो